What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right. What is it? Sunday night, the Sunday night live stream. My apologies, everybody, for the late start, 7:30 start. I did warn everyone that there's people in town, and I kind of got to work around things a little bit this month. So, yeah, a little bit late, but we did get the show on the road, 7:30. The rare Sunday 7:30 Radio Baloney Live. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing out there? Looks like we got Izzy in the chat already. Spambot, Rosie. Good to see you guys. Who else? Anybody else in there already? Before we even start the stream, good to see you guys. G Flood. All right, so let's just get to the menu. We'll go over what we're going to be talking about tonight, and then we'll go back to the chat, deal with that, and then get back and deal with the stories in detail. So first off, we've got some stuff. Hold on. What have we got here? Here's Tim Burchett here talking about NGO scams and how the U.S. is totally infested with them. That's interesting, isn't it? Here we've got some new body cam footage released here. So here's an incident that was being promoted as a case of, a social justice case of somebody just being shot for no reason. And we was a full body cam footage. And boy, that really backfired on the left, didn't it? The body cam footage thing really backfired bad. But it's a good thing because they can't lie. Let's see. Iran. We're going to talk about Iran, Trump and Iran here a little bit. We'll get into all of that. Here we have something. So that Michigan attack, right? Kept seeing news stories where they went absolutely determined to let you know the Islamic, Michigan attacker had family that had died in Israeli strikes. Turns out the family was a Hezbollah terrorist commander. So the media didn't mention that. Did not mention that. Let's see. What are we going over here? Cuba. So here is one case here, and I don't know that this is widespread across the island, but here's one case where they're burning down a Communist Party headquarters in Cuba. So in one place. That's not the entire island, but one place. Will that lead to more? I don't know. We'll get into that. We've got Restore Britain with Rupert Lowe, which is the only real conservative party in the UK now, I would say. Rupert Lowe is the only guy who's got what it takes, I think, to really make the hard choices they need to make. They now have more members than the Conservative Party. So, I mean, it tells you two things. It tells you that they're very quickly rising, this party, and gaining popularity. And also it shows you just the utter collapse of the Conservative Party in the UK, which they deserve after, for a decade and a half, just totally betraying their voters. Canadian immigration. Well, that's not going to be a good story. We're going to talk about this. We have got, okay, so a bunch of Canadian stuff. Not that much, not as much as we usually have. Federal health minister won't say if it's unhealthy or dangerous to inject fentanyl. That lady there, for some reason, won't tell us that. I don't know. I mean, they don't have a problem not selling booze to children or cigarettes and stuff and regulating all that stuff. For some reason, though, fentanyl, I don't know. It almost feels like it's ideological in some way. Could it possibly be? I don't know. Canadian media bias, of course. We're going to deal with that. We've got a meme review coming up, folks. Meme review. Everybody loves the meme reviews. Mark Carney, just lying. I mean, it's at his 1 year anniversary. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. I'm sure it's going well for him personally, financially. I'm sure it's going great. He can't wait to cash in all those deferred stocks from Brookfield once he's out of office. But for the country, there's a couple of questions, I guess, at least being asked now that are making him uncomfortable. I don't expect much of that. But yeah, Mark Carney, the guy who parachuted in from Europe, a week before he became prime minister. What a joke. Yes, so here's something where they hid the fact that Canadian soldiers were attacked in Kuwait. and an attack on Kuwait from Iran. And nobody told the Canadian people about it. It happened on March 1st. Nobody told anybody about it. They asked Mark Carney here, does he give a really good, nuanced, a really good, solid, credible excuse for this? No, he does not. Let's see. We've got a little bit on Pierre Poilievre here, of course, criticizing the Liberals. And then we're getting to the last tab. We don't actually have that much on the menu tonight, I will say, but this is a bunch of stuff you guys sent in, and we will look at that because you guys sent it in. I'm not even saying I like this stuff. I'm just saying you guys sent it in. It's your stuff. Don't blame me. It's you. It's your guys' fault. No, it's actually cool stuff. All right. Anybody watching over on YouTube, which there doesn't appear to be anybody right now, unsurprisingly. Let's see it. But anybody watching over on YouTube, please subscribe to the second channel on YouTube, Radio Baloney News. It's the second channel. It's about 6 months old now. This is where all of the world news, UK news, Canada news, woke mind virus, meme reviews, everything goes on here. I'm even putting some of the Canadian stuff on here now. So the original channel, Radio Baloney, that you're watching right now is for live streams and Canadian news. But even some of the Canadian news is starting to migrate over here. You better get in now. Better get in now before it's too late. All right. Now, as everybody knows, we're streaming on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, and on Locals right now. And when you subscribe to the channel or become a channel member or whatever, I mean, these are all great ways to get good karma. Of course, sending me money if you lose your mind, that's a fantastic way as well. Easiest way is just to like the stream. Just liking the stream, folks. Liking the stream, you get good karma. And if you're in early, you get extra. Spambot got the first like for the late start. Since it's a late start, I'm giving out extra karma. That's 10 good karmas. Boom. Izzy says, I may have gotten like number 1 also. At least I thought I did, but then the chat had a spinning thing, so I restarted. I don't know. Rosie got 2. That's 9. Or maybe 3. Maybe Izzy got 2. That's 9 for Izzy. Rosie got 3. That's 8 for Rosie. And then, no, Rosie got number 4. I don't know what's going on. Bunch of good karma for everybody. You guys work it out. All right. Spambot says he's watching Manhunter with Redonkulous. I think, Manhunter, is that the original? That's the original Silence of the Lambs, right? I believe, with Hannibal Lecter. Let's see. Let's see. Off to a running start here. Izzy says, I have a place for signing Wednesday. It wasn't the petition coordinators that had partisan issues. Their landlord wanted to be neutral. Some lady has been giving bad reviews on Google for any company that holds a signing. He's talking about the independence, but the petition to have a referendum in Alberta for independence, for Alberta independence. The nut bars are really coming out, and it's not surprising. All right. Spambot says he zonked out in his chair on Friday and then woke up with slobber all over his face. That's a typical response. That's a typical physical response to watching Radio Baloney live. That's normal. Let's see. See, Trudeau Survivor's got a great... How you doing, Trudeau? A great idea here. Put duct tape around your head and jaw. Keeps the saliva from falling out. That's how you do it. Right there. Rosie's going to be out late. I'm sorry for the late start, you guys. There's nothing I could do about it. All right, let me... What else we got that? All right, I think we're just going to get started. Well, let's just get started. All right. What are we doing? All right, let's go here first. So from Real Robert posted this. The United States... Real Robert posted this. United States Representative and Chairman of the House Doge Subcommittee, Tim Burchett, So he's talking about the racket of the NGOs, about the United States being infested with NGOs. And there's millions and millions of dollars being laundered into this. Let's hear what he has to say about this. Okay.
Government organizations. They get a heck of a lot of your money, though, and here's how it works. They're not non-government because you and I fund it. We borrow the money to send to them. Afghanistan, for instance, where we had the bill to defund the Taliban. It's in the Senate now, and the other side, oh man, they pitched a fit when we added NGOs. We're cutting them off. Because here's what happens. You got these billionaires who hate our guts, want to destroy everything we stand for. They'll put $1 million in some group that has some fancy name, Feed the Children. I don't know, maybe that's not an accurate one, but anyway, you get the picture. And so they'll put $1 million in there, which is nothing to them, pennies on their dollars. And so they apply for this federal money, and then the unelected bureaucrat in Washington says, oh, they got $1 million, and they're legit. And so then they literally have put billions upon billions of dollars in these things. Afghanistan alone, over 1,000 non-government organizations are working out there. And you add the UN stuff, and we think it could be multiples of thousands of organizations working out of there, all this bogus stuff. I mean, do you really believe we're spending $10 million on a dadgum drag show? Where's the money go? Right back in the pockets of politicians, probably some in Washington. So there's a paper trail. Somebody's going to find out about it, but we know it probably goes into dark money campaigns, fighting good Republicans as well. And anyway, it's got to stop. And thank you, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Well, I mean, Doge was working to get rid of all of that, wasn't it? Hold on one second. Let's check something very quickly here. Everybody, do all your chores, all your housework, everything right now. Study for your master's degree while I look this up. Doge NGOs. Let's take a look. See if I can find anything quick. If I can't find anything quickly here. Here, what's this? U.S.-funded NGOs may be biggest scam ever. Elon Musk's big charge. March 2nd, 2025. The Musk-led Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has said it's working to cut the U.S. government's wasteful spending. New Delhi. NGOs funded by the U.S. may be the biggest scam ever, and America is going bankrupt in funding them, according to President Donald Trump's key advisor and billionaire Elon Musk. The remarks cast a shadow over several NGOs that came up during the Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden administrations and provide credence to allegations that Washington, D.C. used such organizations to effect regime change and policy interference globally. In a podcast with Joe Rogan, Musk said the whole NGO thing is a nightmare. Well, is there a link here? Let's take a look. In fact, hold on a second. I'll bet you we can find something on X here. Hold on. Elon Musk NGOs. All right, here we go. Let's take a look.
I feel like the homeless population doubled.
This is posted by a Doge designer.
I feel like the homeless population doubled or something. People don't understand like the homeless thing because it sort of preys on people's empathy, and I think we should have empathy, and we should try to help people. But the homeless industrial complex is really it's dark, man. It should be that network of NGOs should be called like the drug zombie farmers, because the more homeless people and really like when you meet like somebody who's like totally dead inside, shuffling along down the street with a needle dangling out of their leg. Homeless is the wrong word. Like homeless implies that somebody got a little behind in their mortgage payments, and if they just got a job offer, they'd be back on their feet. But someone who's, I mean, you see these videos of people that are just shuffling. You know, they're on fentanyl. They're like, you know, taking a dump in the middle of the street. You know, they got like open sores and stuff. They're not like one job offer away from getting back on their feet.
Right. This is not a homeless
Homeless
issue.
is it's a propaganda word.
Right.
So, and then the you know, these sort of charities, in quotes, are they get money proportionate to the number of homeless people or number of drug zombies.
Right.
So their incentive structure is to maximize the number of drug zombies, not minimize it.
Right.
That's why they don't arrest the drug dealers. Because if they arrest the drug dealers, the drug zombies leave. So they know who the drug dealers are. They don't arrest them on purpose, because otherwise the drug zombies would leave, and they would stop getting money from the state of California and from all the charities.
Wait a minute. So you say
it's dark, man.
Is that real? So they're in coordination with law enforcement on this?
Yeah.
Just crazy stuff. Let's see what else we got here. How about this? Elon Musk calls for the arrest of politicians stealing taxpayer money through NGOs. Okay, so this is from Josh Dunlap here. Let's take a look.
Fake NGOs. I think there needs to be a number of arrests in that regard as well, because these are fake charities where mostly Democrats, almost, well, I don't want to be clear. There's sometimes a little bit of Republican in there, because they sometimes throw the Republicans a bone to say, "Hey, be quiet about this." So that's where you start getting the uniparty thing going on. Mm-hmm. But it is overwhelmingly to Democrats, and they give billions of dollars to NGOs run by Democrats that then go through a whole network of additional NGOs. It's a giant money laundering scheme. Really, at this point, I think the word NGO and money laundering are almost synonymous.
So they get huge sums of money, and then they give it to other organizations, and then that money makes its way back. Then that money makes its way back to Democrats again to fund their campaigns. How about this one here?
The parts of USAID that were found to be even slightly useful were transferred to the State Department. So they've not been deleted; they've simply been transferred to the State Department. But many times over with USAID and other organizations, when they said, "Oh well, this is going to help, children, or it's going to help some disease eradication or something like that," and then when we ask for any evidence whatsoever, I say, "Well, please connect us with this group of children so we can talk to them and understand more about their issue." We get nothing. We don't even try to come up with a show orphan, meaning like it's sort of like, well, can we at least see a few kids? Like where are they? If they're in trouble, we'd like to talk to them and talk to their caregivers. Okay, and then we get nothing as a response, because it's what we find is an enormous amount of fraud and graft.
Okay, let me put this example
very
to you.
little of it.
It sounds like the Leering Centers went global, is what it sounds like, doesn't it? Let's see, hold on. So that NGOs are amongst the biggest sources of fraud worldwide here. And again, Elon Musk knows all about this from Doge, probably more than anybody. From Real Robert, let's take a look.
There's just a tremendous amount of money being sent to non-governmental organizations. But actually, this, by the way, is, I think, one of the biggest sources of fraud in the world, is government-funded non-governmental organizations. This is a gigantic fraud loophole where the government can give money to an NGO, and then there are no controls over that NGO. So they've given billions of dollars. In fact, we estimate tens of billions of dollars to NGOs that are essentially scams. So there's just a tremendous amount of money.
So it's one of those things that got a lot of attention because of Doge, and then it just went quiet. Obviously, the media has no interest in preventing fraud if it's being done by leftists, by Democrats, obviously, in the United States. So it's just one of those things that just kind of went quiet. And here he's reminding us again, right? No, this is still a major problem. All right. Let's see. So here, Tony Lane, new body cam footage released. The traffic stop that went viral now has body cam showing what actually happened. Deputies in San Marcos pulled over a red Hyundai Sonata for a vehicle code violation late at night. While checking the car, they noticed registration inconsistencies and damage to the steering column, raising suspicions the vehicle could be stolen. Then things escalated. Police say the 33-year-old passenger ignored repeated commands, rolled up his window, reached towards the floorboard, and armed himself with a semi-automatic handgun. That's the passenger. Officers safely removed the 21-year-old driver, but the passenger refused orders to drop the weapon and raised the gun. At that point, 5 deputies and an officer opened fire. The man was pronounced dead. What else is supposed to happen there? Like, that's the only outcome. That's the only rational outcome for those cops standing there who want to go home to their families. The original video sparked intense debate online, but now the body cam is adding new context to what unfolded. And after seeing the details, what's your conclusion? Well, let's take a look.
Don't do it! I'm gonna take you! Shots fired! Hey, back up, get on the other side! I will shoot you. Drop that gun right now! Drop that gun right now!
Stay back. Go ahead. Take your hand off that fucking gun now! I can't see. Hurry up, Pronto. I can't see. Hurry up.
He's pulling out. Okay,
Don't fucking move. Don't.
Drop it. Drop it. Don't do it, man. Stop. Don't do it.
Stop. Please stop.
Don't do it. I'm gonna take you. Shots fired. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm gonna take you. Don't do it. I'm gonna take you. Shots fired. Hey, back up. Get on the other side.
So another case of you should have just gotten out of the car and just allowed yourself to be arrested. That's just it. If you'd done that, everything would be okay. You pick up a gun, there's cops there. Well, you know what's going to happen. All right. Go back to the chat for a second. Hold on. Wait, it's a bit nipply in that kitchen, looks like. A bit nipply. All right. Spambot says Mark's WEF Carnage. That's his name. That's his game. Rosie says, thank you. I just graduated, waiting for me to pull up those videos there. That's why I do it, because I don't want you guys wasting your time. Let's see. Denny, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. Rosie says, NGOs are a major part of the downfall of our society. Well, it's across the Western world. Canada is constantly sending out money all over the place for I get gender just rice, like a I don't know, non-binary ski shed in Lebanon needs like 5 million. Just the most utterly ridiculous nonsense. And yeah, it very much looks like it's all just fraud. Mickey, how you doing? All right. Trudeau Survivor says, I don't think they put enough bullets in the car. They missed a few spots. In that situation, you just need to do what they say. Let's see. All right. So Eric Doherty here. Breaking. Pardon me. From Eric Doherty here, breaking. President Trump confirms he is in active discussions with bringing multiple countries in to secure the Strait of Hormuz after defeating Iran, whatever that means at this point. Let's take a listen.
We're talking to countries about policing the straits because they are the ones, we don't get oil, very little, 1%, 2%. China, as an example, gets about 90% of its oil from the Hormuz Strait. And nice to have other countries police that with us. And we'll help, we'll work with them. Militarily, as far as I'm concerned, we've essentially defeated Iran. I guess they can have a little bit of fight back, but not much. Not much. We've taken out their air force, as you know, we've taken out
Well, that's really hard to hear, but he's saying, as far as he's concerned, they've basically defeated Iran. I mean, I don't know what that means. I mean, the regime is still there. And, yeah, I mean, I guess what would be claimed as a victory? Would it be, certainly regime change would be 100%, but would also just simply bringing them to the table and having a new nuclear deal? Probably. I don't think, it seems unlikely they're going to be able to force regime change against a regime that is very happy to slaughter its own citizens and is dug in, and the whole place it's a huge country and it's all mountains. It'd just be a ground war would be a bloodbath. So I don't foresee that happening. But we'll have to see. Breaking, an Iranian source told Reuters, an Iranian source told, oh, where's the button?
I ain't got a good brain.
An Iranian source told Reuters that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps strongly believes that if Iran loses control of the Strait of Hormuz, it will effectively lose the war. For this reason, Donald Trump will likely do everything possible to ensure that Iran loses control of the strait. The deployment of the U.S. Marine Corps to the Persian Gulf is also connected to this objective. There's a possibility that American forces could attempt to seize Iranian islands and parts of the southern coastline, which would allow the United States and its allies to restore secure navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. Thing is, if the regime there just decides we're not going anywhere and they don't care about what happens to the people, well, what do you, I mean, short of a ground war, what do you do? What is this? Gavin Valmont. Let's see, Strait of America. Is that what this is all about? Is that what this is all about? Renaming Strait of Hormuz to the Strait of America? Quite possibly. I like the ring of it, I have to say. I like the ring of it. Let's see. So here, Fan Trump Army posted this. It's an emotional video. A young Iranian who barely made it across the border into Turkey has delivered a gut-wrenching eyewitness account that's sending shockwaves worldwide. Let's take a look.
الان رسیدم ترکیه بازا بدبختی اصلا حال رویم خوبی نیست همه رو دارن میکشن بچه‌ها رو همه رو دارن میکشن فقط کمک خارجی رسیدن شده همه شاهزاده رو صدا میزنن خارشون رو بگوید هر کی غیر از این صدا میزنه شاهزاده نیستش که شاهزاده سمبل آزادیه اصلا کاری به اسم شاهزاده نره مردم دوباره ناجیه برادر رو میکشن بیرحمانه دارن چراغا رو خاموش کردن هر کاری دلشون میخواد دارن میکنن من پروازم کنسل شده بود از پروازهای خارجی تهران به خارج از ایران خارجی همه کنسل شده و بدبختی یه پرواز ایرانی پیدا کردم حالا روی مثلا خوب نیست فقط کمک خارجی من تا الان تا ایران نباشید نمیفهمید وضعیت چطوری ترامپه هر کی هست فقط کمک خارجی چشم امید بچه همه به شما هست بخیلی خارج از ایرانه من یه قطرم توی اقیانوس.
So that is pretty heart-rending stuff. Let's see if there's something underneath, if there's anything validating that. This was before USA hit. This is from mid-January 2026. Iranian rapper Miraj Tirani recorded right after escaping to Turkey during the peak of the December 2025, January 2026 protests and mass killings. So this was during the mass killings during the protests. All right. What do we have here? All right. So Fox reporter who spoke to Iranians fleeing to Armenia reveals the chilling reason why uprisings may not be happening. Let's take a look.
John, when you talk to Iranians who have fled their country, who've crossed over the border here to Armenia, the main emotion you sense right away is fear. These are people on the run, leaving everything behind, often holding a suitcase, family members, and they are frightened. Here's what one man had to say to us. He was too scared to appear on camera. He said, "It's sometimes scary for my children. My daughter's very afraid of these noises. And yes, of course, we're scared of this." When we ask people, why are they leaving everything behind? Why are they fleeing their country? Why not perhaps stay and protest against this regime? One man said, "I'm not sure if you can protest against this regime. They have a religious view. So anybody who protests against them is God's enemy. They say protesters are heretics and you can kill them. They killed 40,000 protesters in 2 days. And in their point of view, they go to heaven for doing this." So that's the point of view potential protesters would be up against in Iran. John, back to you.
All right. Steve Harrigan for us, just across the...
Yeah. And this is why, you know, it seems like boots on the ground would be the only way to do it, but that's not going to happen because, again, it would be a bloodbath. That would not be easy to do. They're very well dug in. As he says, I couldn't read the text. What was the translation on those tears? Well, it's just saying that they're shooting everybody, basically, right? Everybody, including children, just basically slaughtering was what he was saying, essentially. Let's see. All right. I think we will leave that at that. We'll go back to the chat for a second. What are you guys saying? G Flood, how you doing, G Flood? Says, how does Iran control the strait? Well, drones, like drone boats and missiles and airborne drones, but also ocean, water drones as well. And it's very narrow. It's only, I think, 30 miles across, so it's very dangerous. Let's see. Rosie says, I cannot watch videos of death. I don't like it either. As he says, straight to America is probably a better name for it. I don't know. I mean, would you, in a month's time, will it be renamed the Strait of America? I don't know. Probably not. Let's see. Let's see. Trudeau's driver says, so did the crying car guy happen to record the atrocities on his phone, the same phone he's currently using to cry on camera? Well, I don't know. I mean, if I was in the middle of that, I think I'd be just trying to not get killed. I don't think I would be recording, quite frankly. So, and I don't think most people would be. Honestly, you'd just be like, I'm just getting the hell out of here now. Let's see. I mean, if it is true that it was 40,000 people in a couple of days, I mean, that's a mass slaughter, right? Like, it's very dangerous. So, Trudeau survivor says he'd be recording. I don't think I would be. I think it's the last thing I would think to do. I would be like, I'm getting away from the people that are shooting people in the head. That would be my reaction, Trudeau survivor. So I don't know. Let's see. I mean, I would wish that I mean, the thing is that I just don't think I would even think about it, right? It would just, the fight or flight would just be so strong immediately, right? Like just get away from the, certain death. Then it's something I would think about afterwards. But let's see. Because keep in mind as well, like if you're seen recording it, like you're dead now, right? So now you are a target who's definitely dead. Izzy says, yeah, you would likely be a target holding a camera. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. So Aviva Klumpus posted this. So she says, remember when the media told you the Michigan attacker was driven by grief because his brother had been killed in an Israeli airstrike in Lebanon? You're supposed to feel sympathy and compassion for the guy who tried to murder Jews. Now we learn his dead brother was a Hezbollah commander. Well, let's actually pull this up. So, from the New York Post, Israel confirms Michigan synagogue attacker's brother was Hezbollah terrorist commander. So that didn't make it into the headlines, right? Let's see. Do they have a... Because I saw... Hold on a second. I saw headlines that were trying to do apologetics for it immediately. Hold on. I just want to see if I can find that quickly. Hold on. Everybody study for your PhDs while I'm looking this up. Michigan dog suspects. All right, here we go. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, Ole London, Michigan synagogue shooting suspect lost family members in an Israeli strike in Lebanon just days before attacking Temple Israel synagogue. But I wanted to see. Hold on. All right. Anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, his family was Hezbollah. So, like, he was upset about it, but they were terrorists. So, it's a terrorist family, apparently. All right. I think that's all we need on that, I think. Hold on. Do we have anything else here? What else did we need? All right, that's it. Let's move on. What do we have here? So, from Representative Carlos A. Jimenez, the people of Cuba have just set fire to the Communist Party's headquarters in the eastern town of Morón. The Cuban people have had enough of the brutal dictatorship, so I haven't seen anything to suggest this is widespread, but let's take a look. So, I mean, that is something, isn't it? It's something. Is it widespread across Cuba? I mean, the problem is that with these dictatorships is when people do stuff like this, immediately police come and like kill people and then take them to prison and torture them and get them to name names and that sort of thing. So it's really, really a very dangerous thing to do, right? It's not like, Antifa trying to set fire. It's not like Antifa trying to set fire to the federal courthouse in Portland. So, and there was Greta. Greta's so upset about it. She's so upset about the possibility that maybe Cuba won't be communist anymore. So sad. So sad about it. That weird, creepy Children of the Corn girl. Oh, dear. So anyway, so that's that's all I've got on Cuba. Let's go to the UK. So, Rupert Lowe MP. He is the leader of the Restore Party. So they're like an insurgent party in the UK, insurgent conservative party that has risen because what was thought to have been the hope for the island, for sanity, the Reform Party led by Nigel Farage, has exposed itself to be just another uniparty party that's not really going to do what's necessary regarding things like crime and immigration. And in fact, you've got a bunch of old conservative party, the same conservative. In fact, you've got a bunch of conservative party MPs, the same conservatives that have betrayed the British people for forever, basically for 15 years or whatever. A bunch of defectors from the Conservatives to Reform. I think they even just got a Labor MP to defect. I mean, that is not a good sign. That doesn't speak to change. Real change, the actual kind of change that they need. That speaks to, a bit of, twiddling the knobs and business as usual. So Rupert Lowe has been very effective, and he's an MP in the UK. He was in Reform. He got kicked out by Nigel Farage for being too patriotic, I guess. And he's taken the Restore Party national. And now they have more members than the Conservative Party. Let's hear this.
What a fantastic day it is. And I've just been called out of the greenhouse where I've been planting my nascent seeds for the coming season. Hopefully plenty of fresh garden vegetables, which have been nurtured by myself, having been propagated in the greenhouse, which I've been busy doing this morning. But the news is momentous. We have gone through 113,000 members, which, according to the records we have, means that we now eclipse the Tory party membership. So I think everybody can feel very proud about the fact that this common sense revolution taking place within Restore Britain is spreading fast. We've got our branches now up and running on an increasing scale, and we are arming them with the necessary equipment to basically carry out local campaigns on the ground. So we are all systems go, and it really is incredibly helpful and reassuring to know that increasingly people throughout the country are supporting what we're doing. So thank you all very much. Have a great weekend and keep going.
And he's got time. He's still got a few years until the next election in the UK. And to have more members of the Conservatives already, it doesn't mean they've got the same votes already, but it tells you something. I mean, this is a genuinely insurgent party that's gaining popularity because he says the things that need to be said. Restore Britain now has more members than the Conservative Party. Our aim is clear. Win the next general election. I am increasingly confident we can achieve that. Enjoy the weekend, Patriots. Patriots, he says. I mean, that's a dirty word in politics now, right? Patriot. Don't want to be that. That's scary. That's right wing. Right wing. Here he is talking about Tommy Robinson being right about the problems they have in the UK.
I'm afraid I've paid him credit in the past and I'll pay it to him now. Tommy Robinson was right about this. when he first talked about it in Luton, around, I think it was 2002, 3, 4, somewhere around then. And he's been consistently right about it. And I think, again, he deserves credit for that. He's obviously got issues which people criticize him for, which I don't know about, and I don't never met Tommy. I've never spoken to Tommy, but I think he deserves credit for what he's got right. And
So, Tommy Robinson, who has now for years been talking about the grooming gangs and also the cultural and crime and terrorism issues that surround Islam in the UK. And Tommy Robinson is treated like the bubonic plague by the other party leaders and by the media and every respectable person in the UK. And here you've got Rupert Lowe saying, yeah, he's right. And Tommy Robinson is very popular. He's actually very popular amongst the working class in the UK. So it's important that he said that. Let's see. There's one other thing from him I want to show you here. What's he talking about here? Here, from Basil the Great. What is he saying here? Is this something that the other political parties will really talk about in a forthright way? Let's see.
We hear so much of the human rights for foreign paedophiles, sex pests and murderers.
Is not giving way. Members may disagree with what he's saying, but we will conduct this in an orderly way.
What about the human rights of the British people? The right not to be raped, stabbed and killed by foreigners who should never have been in our country to begin with. Please spare me the continued moral outrage.
Mr. Lowe, sorry.
We hear so much of the human rights.
Well, they're the indigenous people of that island, and they have a right to live in peace there, right? I mean, this is going to resonate with the former Conservative Party voters, for sure. What's this one here? Hold on. Here, Rupert Lowe argues that Britain is effectively a communist state governed by organized crime, in which the hardworking are punished while non-contributors are rewarded, urging citizens to resist state overreach. Well, let's take a look here. And here he's talking to Carl Benjamin of the Lotus Eaters.
I think people have got to now wake up and understand that it's not only the political parties that aren't serving them. The media isn't serving them.
Well, it's the system itself.
And the essence of a free democracy is the media must act as the safeguard for the people in challenging the politicians. But the problem is they're all one big club. So I urge people, spread the word. This isn't going to happen if people don't want it. And if they want it, as I say, you can't rely on a small group of people to do this. Everybody's got to do some heavy lifting now.
So
everybody's got to challenge petty bureaucracy. Everyone's got to challenge, the rules, the regulations, all of the things that are oppressing us. Challenge it. Do not do it legally,
of course,
but do not allow these petty bureaucrats and these people who are supposed to be serving you. Don't allow them to push you around. They're your servant, not your master. I think what's happened is.
Let's actually continue. Hold on.
With the proliferation of the state, the proliferation of all the regulations and all the rules and all the things that tie us down and damage our quality of life, people have lost sight of what the state is there for. It is there to serve. I think it was summed up the other day by a young kid, and they say out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, but he said to me, why is it that everybody who seems to work hard and do their best is punished? And everyone who seems to do nothing and not contribute is protected. And that's where we are. This was a kid. He could see it himself. So if he can see it, surely everybody else can see it. That's what.
Yeah, he surmised correctly that the ruling class, that the establishment in the UK, as has happened in every Western country, by the way, but he's talking, but for his homeland, his home, right, Britain, he surmised that the elites and the ruling class have determined that the British people, that he himself should be a second-class citizen, and in fact subservient to foreigners imported en masse. I mean, and that is exactly how people, regular people, are feeling, not only in Britain, across the Western world. So I think we'll see more people like him. I mean, already in the States, you've got Trump, who just is the embodiment of, restoration in the United States. The restoration of the American spirit and the American dream. And we'll see other figures like that. And here's Rupert Lowe is one of them. All right. Do we have anything else for here? Don't think we do. Hold on. Let me just check. No. Okay. Let's go back to the chat for a second. And maybe we'll do a quick ad read. Why not? Let's see if it's worth it for me. Ooh, yeah. Here we go. Let's do this. Here's a little inside scoop that many creators are talking about behind the scenes. It's actually one of the reasons that I'm using Rumble. They made a way to super chat creators so we get paid immediately and without any fees. YouTube and Twitch take up to 50% fees when you tip creators. This method takes none. That's right. The platform takes 0 fees. I keep nearly 100% of what you send me. You can super chat with Bitcoin, Tether, USD, or even Tether Gold stablecoins. The tip will show up directly in the Rumble chat, which I'll do my best to read. All you need to do is download the Rumble wallet on the Rumble store and send the tips to your favorite creators. Go to wallet.rumble.com, or you can download the app directly from the app stores. Seriously, what an amazing way to get rid of the middleman, and we don't like the middleman, and help the creator economy. Shout out to Rumble for making this disruptive technology. I mean, it's a beautiful ad. I struggle with it a bit because there's a couple copy edit mistakes in there, which trip me up every single time. But a beautiful ad. I mean, basically poetry. And I do my best to read it for you. Earnestly. Earnestly. That's the word. Earnest. Now what are we doing? Izzy says, government employees don't like being called servants. Yeah. Once you set up one bureaucracy, that bureaucracy eventually is just going to only exist to keep existing and keep spreading itself and reproducing itself into an ever larger bureaucracy with more power to screw people over. All right, now what are we doing? Let's get to the Canada news. What's going on here? From Mario Zelaya. New, Canada just arrested and deported a white Irish gay man who was a youth mental health worker at BC Children's Hospital, married to a Canadian, because the IRCC sent letters to the wrong address. But sure, Trump is the authoritarian. He thought he followed all the rules, then border guards arrested him on the street. Youth mental health worker forced to leave Canada despite pleas from hospital staff. Well, he should have just been a failed asylum seeker. Then he could stay forever, right? Or he should have been from the Iranian regime, from the Revolutionary Guard. Then it wouldn't have been any problem. The Canadian government loves letting them in, even though they're not supposed to. They still do anyway because they're addicted to it. They're addicted to letting them in. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Non-citizen seeking citizenship in Canada was busted for trying to solicit sex with a minor, and the judge let him off without a criminal record so he could retain his immigration status. See, this guy's doing things the wrong way. Let's see. I don't know where that's. The thing is, like, this is insane. This is insane. This is what we're doing. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Bill C-3 extends citizenship eligibility to millions of descendants abroad. People who've never been to Canada may never come to Canada, but they can just become citizens because somebody moved here, became a citizen, and then left again. Canada's removal inventory has exploded to a record 571,000 individuals. But that guy had to go. Let's see. Of course, we've got the rape gangs now in Canada. So, yeah, it's going great. Yeah, so anyway, I think you see what's happening here. He should have just, like, how do they make the determination that one person has to leave, but then you've got, like, failed asylum seekers who just get to stay forever, apparently? Why even go through the whole process if you're just going to let them stay and give them better health care than you give Canadians? This country is truly mad. Like, we've lost it. Again, like the sheer cleric who was filmed at Pearson International Airport in Toronto, arriving from Iran together with his family, has been identified as whatever that is. He has recently obtained Canadian citizenship. Unfortunately, the government of Canada is sheltering these notorious Shia clerics of the Islamic regime, including those who have been directly involved in the killing of Iranian people. So I guess the message is, if you're a gay Irishman, go to Iran, join the Revolutionary Guard, and then come to Canada. And make sure that you're a Shia cleric as well. The country is bunkers. Bunkers, I tell you. What are you guys talking about? Let's see. Rosie says, ad for Rumble Wallet, very well read. Hope it has really very low fees. I could not figure out how to set it up with biometrics. Needs more copy. Hey, 9 out of 10. That's how much you can get out of 10, 9 out of 10. I'm not a biologist, but I'm pretty sure. All right. That is a cool $2.11 for Radio Baloney. Nice. That's why I did that one. I got very excited. That's like is that a chocolate bar? I think that's like a chocolate bar now. I get a chocolate bar for that. Very well indeed. Let's see. Now, what are we doing? So we did immigration. So, okay. Brian Lilly posted this clip. And as everybody knows, Canada is the harm reduction capital of the world, apparently. We're the give everybody free drugs, set up injection sites everywhere, have a order of magnitude increase in the number of overdoses and overdose deaths and just general human tragedy. And why do we do that? And what happens when people ask questions about it? Well, I guess we'll find out now. Brian Lilly posted this. This is our federal health minister. She's asked if injecting fentanyl is safe and won't answer. Her department wants to tell you that no amount of alcohol is safe and that you shouldn't have more than 2 drinks in a week. But fentanyl is okay. Well, let's take a look. See, this is woke dysfunction because it's just a article of faith amongst, radical progressives that so-called harm management or harm reduction is the only solution to drug addiction. So just giving people crack pipes and places to do drugs and give them free drugs, that's the only solution. It's an article of faith with them. They just, you can show them the numbers, you can show them the increase in overdoses and just basically human carnage around this, the increases in crime, everything, and nothing will ever change their mind because they know, because They're not trying to fit their ideology into the world. They're trying to fit the world into their ideology. And they are very happy to break the world and all the people in it in the process. So they don't actually care about results. They care about the ideology. Let's take a look.
Question is, Minister, is injecting fentanyl safe? Yes or no?
I would say that the supervised consumption sites save lives. They save lives. I know, but these I have seen these sites myself in Vancouver. I saw the ambulances come.
Injecting fentanyl, was that safe? Was injecting fentanyl safe? I'm over. Thank you very much. Ms. Chief, question is, Minister.
They just don't care. They just don't. Again, they don't actually care about results. They care about the ideology, about hewing to the ideology, about doing what feels progressive, what the other progressives in their bubble would approve of. That's it. It has to work because it's a progressive idea. Right? Like, we've gone from the war on drugs to the collaboration with drugs, with predictable results. Literally an order of magnitude increase in deaths. He's asking a simple question here. Is injecting fentanyl safe? He's talking about safe injection clinics here. Is it safe for somebody to go into a safe injection clinic and inject fentanyl? And she will not answer the question. She just says the safe injection sites save lives. Do they? Does this extremely, incredibly, this insanely permissive attitude towards deadly drugs, does it really save lives? Well, we know the answer. No, it doesn't. We know that it causes 10 times more. At least in Canada, that's what's happened. Won't answer. Doesn't matter. This is the Liberal Party. This is progressivism the world over. Nothing matters. Results don't matter. All that matters is that you look like you're doing the progressive thing. That's it. And it's a tragedy, and it just causes, untold misery and tragedy for families all across the country. And she'll be smug and smile about it, and she knows better than everybody, even though apparently she hasn't even bothered to look at the statistics. This is Canada, folks. This is Canada. Don't be Canada. All right. Let's move on. What do we got here? So from CBC Watcher, quote, Canada has agreed to contribute 23.6 million barrels, Energy Minister Tim Hodgson announced on Friday. CBC Watcher adds here that no strategic reserve, no excess capacity in production or transmission, CBC's Brewster can't be bothered to ask where the 23.6 million barrels is coming from and over what period. It's clear why CBC is the PMO stenographer of choice. So there's the journalist there. Canada has agreed to contribute 23.6 million barrels of oil to help stabilize the market, except we have no strategic reserve and we're at capacity already. So we can't. So this is just made up. Right? This is just Carney just saying things. Carney, Norway PM, push message of oil market stability as war in Middle East rattles global supply. Yeah, this is just Carney. He just says things and then they just report them and they don't interrogate it. Just nothing. Just nothing. Just, yep, he pays us. So, and hold on a second. Here we go. Ryan Garrettson, Carney gets snippy because he gets asked, what exactly is Canada actually contributing to the amount of oil immediately if there are no reserves? So what's his answer?
It's Our contribution, to repeat, which is what I just said, is to produce.
But is it sort of the existing amount of oil?
It's the amount. That is what we produce. It's not. We don't release it. We produce it. It goes out into the export markets. This is but the point is, if you look at it, if I may.
Well, I think we just got to the point, though. The point is, it's just empty words because we don't have any extra to contribute. We're just doing what we were doing before, which is far less than we should have been doing all along.
Prime Minister, from Norway's perspective, from Canada's perspective, we are low-risk producers of oil. We are low-risk producers of natural gas. We're reliable. We can produce. We're in jurisdictions where what we produce will go to market, and we can deliver it to market. And that is a contribution in a world which is lost in effect.
Oh, so that's the contribution. Why didn't you say that the first time around? Our contribution is that we just are going to do the same thing. Our contribution is that we can produce oil at the same levels. Yeah, lots of countries can do that. Lots of like, it's just nothing. It's just nothing. He doesn't get called out on this stuff in the media. They're just stenographers for him. Nothing matters. It's Mark Carney. He's the hero. He's the great patriot somehow, even though the guy's barely lived in Canada his adult life and parachuted in shortly before he became prime minister. But just accepted everybody. His ego and overconfidence will be his downfall, most definitely. Well, I'm just not going to overestimate the Canadian voter again. I'm just not. I mean, it's having the entire mainstream media machine behind him has been enough so far. I'm not going to say that it won't continue to be. Here, let's do the meme review, shall we? Let's do the meme review. Mental Health, how you doing? Freedom Butterfly, good to see ya. Just made a shepherd's pie. That'd be great for dinner. I wish I had that. It all says, good evening, beautiful and blessed people. Good evening to you. All right. Denny says, too bad we don't have a Restore Britain party in Canada. Well, this is the thing. We had generational problems, generational dysfunction from Trudeau. And now with Turbo Trudeau, Mark Carney, it's only getting worse. And, at this point, does Pierre Poilievre have it in him to do the things that need to be done? Right? Like, the temporary foreign workers have to go home. All of the refugees, most of them are going to have to go home. Certainly all of the failed refugees are going to have to go home. Right? We have a housing problem in this country, and it's not going to get better. We need to stop permanent residency immediately. I'd accept 1,000 doctors a year. I'll take that. Is he going to have the strength to do what needs to be done? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Mental Health says, Richie, Mark Carney is an utter idiot and asshole. Mark Carney is asshole. I agree. Trudeau Survivor says, who anointed her to be Canada's health minister and who was she chosen over? They're all clowns. They're all clowns. Jay Flood says, I'm doing more to produce oil than Carney. It is pathetic. Yeah, it's pathetic. Let's see. Yeah, obviously that memorandum of understanding has gone absolutely nowhere. Well, Mark Carney was giving away Vancouver to the Musqueam tribe. I mean, guarantee nothing. No major projects are going to be happening there. Elon Musk, this is the real explanation. So let's do the meme review. All right. Elon Musk reposted this one. Says, this is real explanation from Edward A. Perrin. Let's see what's going on. I have strong opinions. Are they based on reality? They are based upon how I feel in my heart. And there's the heart there. I'm terrified that if I research and form opinions based on reality, a wedge will be driven between me and my community, and I will lose my friends and family. This is exactly what's happening. This is how you get people supporting abominations like medical gender experiments on children, sex changes for children. That's how you end up with that. This is it. This is it. It's weak people like this. This is how you end up with people supporting open borders, right? And protesting against deporting murderers, right? This is how. This is how. It's all about fashion. It's all about bubble. That's it. If I research and form my opinions based on reality, a wedge will be driven between me and my community. That's it. Right there. That's it right there. You don't even have to do research for a lot of this stuff, right? Like open borders. If you think about it for 3 seconds, do the whole, supply and demand thing, right? The math doesn't work out. You can figure that out real quick. But this is it. This is what is dooming the West. Let's move on. All right. Trumplicans 2024 posted this. Exactly. What else should I do? Cleavage is like the sun. If you wear dark glasses, you can look at it longer without risk of injury. That is an excellent point. That's why I always wear sunglasses. Let's see. What's this? What kind of knot is that? A boob knot, I guess. I don't know. I get all kind of confused and lightheaded looking at that knot. We better just move on. Let's see. As a Westerner, I'd like to apologize for the Crusades. We clearly didn't go far enough. Well, the Crusades were a response to Muslim aggression, right? Like the whole Middle East used to be Christian. Like they didn't all just, it didn't turn Muslim, it didn't turn Muslim because they had a giant tea party and everybody thought it was a great idea. No, it was by the sword, convert or die, right? Muslims were invading Europe constantly. Spain was an Islamic colony for like 700 years. Crusades were a response. The Crusades were a response to Islamic aggression. And for some reason, history has been rewritten to make us the bad guys. Fight with memes. Nothing can destroy a civilization quite like socialism. Well, let's see. Japan, after 2 atomic bombs, looking good. Cuba, after 67 years of socialism, not looking good. But the United States and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's communism that did this. It's communism. I don't care. You can talk about your sanctions or blockades, whatever. No, this is communism. Cuba was never nice after the revolution. It's been terrible the whole time. And again, we say this over and over again. Point to the success story. Point to the place that Cuba could have been, right? You're going to point to North Korea and say, well, if it hadn't been for American interference, Cuba could have been as nice as North Korea or like the killing fields of Cambodia. Like, there's no place to point to. So it looks like it's just socialism. It's just communism. It's just what it does to you. It's just bad for you. What's this? Prairie Putz posted this. I'm a woman who converted to Islam. I'm a chicken who started working at KFC. There are some Western women who convert to Islam, and I think they just like being told what to do and like where they can go and like that they can't leave the house. You better cover that up or else you know what happens. There are some women that are just like that. But I think a lot of the women who are very vocal supporters of Islam and want as much Islam in their countries as possible have no idea what it means. Like the chicken here. John McClory, let's see. If you don't impeach the corrupt judges, you cannot fix the country. They will form a cartel and block all reforms, protecting the systemic corruption that put them in their seats. And yeah, there seems to be a plague of terrible judges. Look in the States. I mean, everything Trump says, they just like immediately, nope. Some judge is going to say, nope, sky isn't blue. Nope, overturned. Trump said that cancer's bad. Cancer's good now. Overturned. Yeah, they really stand in the way of fixing your society. This is what happens. When you pump out in every educational establishment, in every school, at every university, at every college, when you're pumping out a new red guard every single year, they're going to go into every field. They're going to become judges. If this is happening at law schools, and it is, they're going to become judges and lawyers. And they're going to have insane beliefs, and they're not going to care about the law. They're going to care about their ideology. So, yeah, he's right. Bukele is right. El Salvador went from the most dangerous country in the world to one of the safest ones pretty quick, and all that he had to do was imprison all of the criminals. Weird. Imagine that. You don't impeach the corrupt judges, you cannot fix the country. Yeah. Let's see. What is this? Trolling Canuck. Let's see. There's Trump. What's he pointing to? Eat a bag of dicks, you bunch of dirty fucking communists. I like where he's going with that. Nice. Eat a bag of dicks, you bunch of dirty effing communists. I like where he's going with that. I like it. Let's see. What's this? Trolling Canuck posted this. So sweet. My son Mohammed was a moderate 17. Oh, they blow up so fast. They do. They do. Somebody must have drawn a picture. Let's see. Was he wrong? From Matt Couch. Was he wrong? So that's McCarthy there. 70 years ago, I told you that communists were taking over our schools, Hollywood, mainstream media, and the Democratic Party. You laughed at me and turned me into a bogeyman. How is that working out for you now, Joseph McCarthy? Yeah, he was right. I was always taught that he was the bad man and like crazy and witch hunt and Crucible and all of that stuff. And no, he was just right the whole time. He was right. The United States was infested with communists. These were people that were aligned, that were working with things like Comintern. They were loyal to, Joseph Stalin. They were loyal to the Soviet regime. These are people that knew that all of the horrific crimes against humanity that had taken place in the Soviet Union. And they were still communists, still working in the interests of the Soviet communists. And he was right to root them out. These were traitors, right? An enormous amount of espionage going on. He was right to. I mean, that's how the Soviets got the nuclear. That's how the Soviets got the atomic bomb, through espionage. They stole it. He was right. He was right. He didn't go far enough. And of course, the lefty media demonized him and deified people like Dalton Trumbo and other commies. So no, he was right. Joseph McCarthy was right the entire time, and they should build statues of him everywhere. A giant statue that's 1,000 feet high. That's what I say. If I were a world emperor, that's what I would do. Let's see. What's this? CBC, CTV, Global News. Let's see. Fake news, lies, rumor, sensationalism, fear, propaganda. Yeah, pretty much it. Pretty much it right there. That is what the news is there for now. It's to poison you, poison your mind. The new Canadian 20s are out. Let's see. So that is, two trucks crashing into each other. And I'm guessing the drivers there are both from a different country. from India, and they paid, and they fraudulently got their licenses, because that's normal in Canada now, by the way. They took over the licensing schools, and now you just have this. You just have Indian truck drivers driving into things, and all the time, because we're Canada, because that's what Canada does. Also, you've got that problem in the States as well. Let's see. JGen X are posted this. Taxpayers. Let's see. There's the NDP as a pile of poo there. And that makes a lot of sense. Illegal migrants, liberal, First Nations, climate change, Ukraine, Gaza. And there's the taxpayers who are, well, it looks like not doing well, being overwhelmed by the parasitic government. Let's just call it that, the parasitic government. And yeah, I mean, Canada is only functioning now on borrowed money. It needs to borrow money. Mark Carney doubled the deficit from what Trudeau wanted to do. I mean, imagine that. The economic genius, the moderate, doubled the deficit from what Trudeau was planning on. And this is done to just keep the country limping along. As nothing happens, there's no major deals happening, major national programs happening. Nothing's happening. We're not producing more oil, nothing. We're just throwing on new carbon taxes and regulations and carbon sequestration and all of this. Meanwhile, this is happening. Taxpayers are basically going to die from malnutrition because, well, here, illegal immigrants, the Liberal Party, First Nations, climate change, Gaza, have been taking all of their food. This is Canada. And Canada's not the only Western country. This is Europe. This is all of Europe as well, by the way. So, yeah, what's the way out? I guess Canada has not hit rock bottom yet, and hopefully it hits it before too long, so that it can start digging itself back out again. What's this? I said no soliciting. Front towards enemy. Yeah, I wouldn't ring the bell. Let's see. Goes hard. Look at that. That's some sort of a snake with the syringes and World Health Organization. That pretty much sums it up, right? They wanted to just give everybody that special jab. Everybody, babies, everyone. That pretty much sums it up. What's happening here? Steve, oh my God, someone just sent me this. Let's see. Dakota Jean just made medium rare chicken strips. Hold on a second. Medium rare chicken strips? What? They're so good, I can't believe I haven't tried it like this before. Can't wait to dig in with my homemade salad and veggies. Underneath says, you're gonna get salmonella. Dakota Jean says, I don't think so. This is chicken, not salmon. Oh. Chicken, not salmon. I kind of feel like if you're this dumb, you just kind of deserve whatever happens to you at that point, right? You just kind of deserve whatever happens to you, you know. She'll have that with her nice, raw pork and egg salad. Bucket of rancid prawns. I don't know. What's this? Joshua Tree posted this one. Let's see. I wish people would just get along, Snoopy. Communists aren't people, Charlie Brown. Well, when you put it that way, I think we've seen this one before, but it's a good one. It's really good. Let's see. Socialism is better than capitalism. When the Berlin Wall fell, who ran to which side? Yeah. Yep. The same side they always run to, away from the communism, the socialism. Happens every single time. Like, do people rush into the killing fields? Does that happen? I don't know. Let's see. Is that it? Are we done? Oh, hold on. Post Chevelle 300. 2016, we got Trump now. 2026, we got Trump now. 2036, we've got Trump now. 2046, we've got Trump now. 2056, we've got Trump now. 2066, we've got Trump now. They're just going to be saying this forever, aren't they? aren't they? I wonder if, I mean, is it possible? Could Trump stay president until 2066? I mean, obviously that would be totally unconstitutional, but it would make the left so deranged that it would be funny, right? It would be funny. If Trump ruled until he was like 100 and, I don't know, 120 or something. Life is hard. It's even harder if you're stupid. John Wayne says that. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? But the thing is, the people that are stupid don't know that they're stupid. Let's see. All right, we did all of that. We did all of that. We better get to the chat. We better get to the chat. I'd better have a sip of my ranch juice. All right, I should tell you guys right now, Tuesday, there will be no stream because I'm not going to be here. So there's no way around that. So, but we will be back tomorrow for the premium stream. So for the Tuesday one, there is no way. We've got people in town and stuff. I told you guys, there's no way around that one. Let's see. Mental Health says, Richie, there are some dumbasses who would ring that doorbell. I'm not one of them. Mental Health says, abnormal has become the new normal. This is one of the greatest tricks, right? Making things that are so abnormal. Like, abnormal is not the right word. For the modern progressive in Canada, child sex changes is just a normal thing. That's just like, oh yeah, they just do that now. Yeah. Yeah, they just give sex changes to children now because they're confused. That's a normal thing. That's normal to them now. You might call it the banality of evil. But that's one of the greatest tricks, just turning things that are abominations into normal, like open borders. Like that's not treated as extremism. None of this stuff is treated as extremism in the media. So that's normal. That's just a normal thing to think. Like communism is not treated as extremism. You see all these lunatics marching with their, Revolutionary Party of Canada or, with the hammer and sickle down in the States. And the media it's like they don't even see it. Like that is actual extremism. Like that's like there's nothing more extreme than the hammer and sickle, right? There's nothing crazier. That is absolute. It is the definition of far left extremism. Media just seems to think it's not even notable. It's just totally normal. Wow, that's normal. I mean, they're just good people. Those are just communists, right? Just good people. All right. Oh, Spambot's tapping out. Good night, Spambot. Thanks for stopping in. All right. Well, we did start late tonight. What are we at, 9 o'clock already? Okay. Trudeau survivor. Land acknowledgements were normalized. That's a great example there. That's not gone very well. Oh, it's just harmless. No, it's not. It's absolutely not, as we found out. JDL, how you doing? G Flood says land acknowledgements are just a way to brag. Well, it turns out though that now that Aboriginal title is being acknowledged all over the place, it's being handed out, it's just being given away. I mean, that supersedes fee simple. It was not harmless. Right? Turns out it wasn't just a way to brag. It actually turned out to be very, very serious. And I'm not going to go on a long rant about it because I've been ranting about it so much, but this is a catastrophe for BC, and it's going to end up being a catastrophe for the entire country. I don't think people realize yet how serious this is. In law, they own the land now. They own Vancouver now. Okay, if there's any conflict and it goes to court, they will win. They've been granted title. And I mean, still nothing on the CBC about this. I mean, it's just, the media is lying on this. And maybe the thing is, the media, the journalism is such a lost art in Canada now. They probably don't even know themselves. They probably have no idea. Just, somebody said that they heard some talking head on CBC say, no, everything's fine. Some liberal, ideologue said, oh, don't worry about it. No, it's no big deal there. They said, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. They probably don't even research stuff anymore. They probably don't even know what the title means. But it's crazy. I mean, there's another thing. They're trying to normalize that. Normalize giving away your property. I mean, it's fucking nuts. Like, I'm telling you, people, this is going to blow up. This is going to blow up, and the rest of the world is going to go, what the hell is wrong with this country? This is going to become global news. Okay? Mark my words. This thing is not over. It's insane. And we're already seeing actually the effects in the polling for BC. The Conservative Party of BC is now, I think, at 47% and NDP at 39%. I never thought I would see that day. But it's going to get much, much worse. Mental Health says, to hell with the mainstream media, regardless of the country of origin. It doesn't matter. They're all just interchangeable parts of the same machine. You can take Rosie Barton and throw her on the BBC. It would make no difference. Or on CNN would make no difference. You could send Jake Tapper to Canada, put him on the CBC. It'd just be the same. It would make no difference. I don't know what James says. I like when Richie is on the rant. All right. Let's move on. So what do we got going on here? So the job numbers are not good in Canada. So the job numbers have come in, and they're not good in Canada. And this was posted by Mark Nixon. And here's a reporter asking Mark Carney, what do you have to say to the 108,000 people that lost their jobs over the last 2 months? Well, what does he have to say? What does he have to offer those people? Mark Carney, after his first year as prime minister with all of his promises. Let's take a look.
Prime Minister Carney, I just want to go back to a response you had to a question about Canadian job losses. Earlier today, you primarily talked about macroeconomics, the Major Projects Office, which is yet to actually approve the project, and some more things the government has announced that are going to be more medium to long-term projects. But what's your message to the 84,000 additional Canadians who are looking for work?
So, yeah, the background of this is that he's done nothing. Right? He's done nothing. What do you say to them given your lack of action on anything?
Right now who are worried about their bills today?
Well, the first thing is that any job loss, of course, is a challenge for the individuals, for their families. And what's important is that we're putting in place not just the measures for the long term. By the way, don't have time to go through all the elements of the premise that aren't exactly accurate there in terms of approvals and moving forward, but also
Yeah, well, that's convenient. That's convenient. Yeah, I guess don't bother going through that, telling us about all the things you've actually done that you haven't done.
We're providing support in moving the economy forward. Here's where the Canadian economy is today.
Providing support and moving the economy forward. Is it? It doesn't feel like it's moving forward, but all right.
Well, we've lost jobs. We've also created jobs. We have taken steps immediately to help Canadians in terms of the tax cut for 22 million Canadians. That is starting to take.
Hey, that's $11 a month, folks. That's $11 a month for your average Canadian.
Effect now, the income tax cut there, providing groceries and essentials benefit to Canadians, so the Canadians most effective.
So sending out money, the benefits checks for groceries, which is, of course, inflationary because he has to borrow the money. So it's just a vicious cycle. And but don't worry, because Mark Carney is a genius economist.
A benefit that reaches millions of Canadians, including up to about $1,400 over the course of a year for a family of four. There's other measures that are coming that will provide immediate support. And the government is very focused on growing this economy. And part of how we're going to grow this economy, yes, it's immediate measures, as I've just indicated, but it's also
getting the.
But what were the immediate? So the immediate measures are just borrowing money and bribing Canadians, trying to bribe Canadians with it, with something that's of course going to make the problem even worse.
Confidence and the investment in the country, a country that's more independent, that's diversifying our partnerships, that's building first and foremost at home, and then secure abroad. Thank you.
Building first and foremost at home. Well, we're not doing that, obviously. Demonstrably, we're not doing that. None of that means anything. It's just a word salad. It means nothing. This is just him stalling while he plunders the country, right? So that he can max out the national credit card to fund all of the green boondoggles, all the green scams, the carbon pricing, the carbon credits, the carbon sequestration, fund all of that with subsidies from Canada, with money that he will borrow. So he became prime minister, I believe, to just get the credit card, the national credit card, and use that to bolster his own interests. What else is happening exactly? What else is happening? I mean, it's talking about the $90 billion in investment in Canada and, $900 billion in investment in Canada, something like that. But it's all just acquisitions and mergers, right? So people buying up companies, which they could just take out of the country. Also, by the way, that's all reliant on $280 billion worth of subsidies. As I predicted. So, yeah, it'll just be this for, Carney's getting his majority now for these by-elections, and it'll just be this. Things will continue to decline, and he'll just stand up and give a bunch of empty words and word salads, and the CBC won't question it, and they'll just accept it, and they'll behave as stenographers for the PMO, and that'll be it. And then he'll leave, and, I'm sure he's already planning, how big of a, which castle he's going to move to in Switzerland or wherever he flees the country to when his time is over. All right. Mark Carney. And you know what? The thing is, his poll numbers keep going up through all of this. A year in, they keep going up. Things keep getting worse. Food inflation getting worse. Unemployment getting worse. And it keeps going up. Incredible. Let's see. Pierre Poilievre says Mark Carney's shrinking economy is now making international headlines. He has delivered the only shrinking economy and the second highest unemployment in the G7, and now 100,000 jobs have vanished in 2 months. His economic credentials are all an illusion. The results show he is just another liberal. So Canada sheds more than 100,000 jobs in the first 3 months of the year. That's from BBC News. So you're not going to see this on the CBC, or it'll be hidden somewhere. Let's take a look at the CBC. What's on the front page of the CBC? Trump calls on allies to defend the Strait of Hormuz. They're thinking about it. Like, this is the first story, a snarky headline. But you know what? It keeps people thinking about. It keeps people from thinking about Carney. So if they're thinking about Trump, they're not thinking about Carney. So that's good for the CBC. Let's see. Anything about all the jobs lost? This is a huge story. It should be on the front page for many days. Let's see. Nothing. Inside the weird world of Toronto's transit seat upholstery. That's more important, according to the CBC, than 100,000 people losing their jobs in the first 3 months. What else have we got here? The Academy Awards. Drunk driver pleads guilty, admits he stole mom's BMW. It's $1.5 billion for this. To just be a propaganda arm of the Liberal Party, to lie, and not just lie by omission constantly. Look at this. There's just nothing. This is why Canada is so screwed. This is how you manufacture a prime minister. Scott Robertson posted this. Journalist Judy Trin. It's your 1-year anniversary. You promised major projects. You promised to remove tariffs that the U.S. had levied against us. What does Mark Carney have to say to this? Because there is no excuse. So what is he actually going to say?
Prime Minister, it's your 1-year anniversary. You promised you promised major projects. You promised to remove tariffs that the U.S. had levied against us.
I promised the best deal for Canada.
He said he would get a deal by July. That's exactly what he said.
That's the difference, Judy. And we have the best deal for Canada right now.
Prime Minister, it's your 1-year.
Yeah, it's a deal you had nothing to do with. In fact, it's worse than when you got into office. There are millions and millions of Canadians that just love this guy. And they smugly love him. They're as smug as he is. Just mindless. All right. What do we have here? All right, this is the last Carney thing. From Juno News. Juno News posted this. Breaking. Reporter asks, if this attack happened in Kuwait on March 1st, why didn't you inform Canadians better? So Canadians were attacked in Kuwait on March 1st by Iran, and nobody in the government thought to tell anybody in Canada. Maybe it would have confused Mark Carney's already confused flip-flopping message on Iran, perhaps. What does he say here? What does the great leader say here? The guy who knows how the world works. Let's take a look.
If you can confirm in English if this attack happened, and why you didn't inform Canadian before?
Well, I mean, I'm not the only spokesperson for the government, but I'll just confirm that Canadian forces are, the members of the Canadian forces are all safe and sound. I reinforce, as I said in French, what you know, which is that we are not engaged in these actions of the U.S. and Israel. We're not engaged in offensive actions, and we will not be engaged.
Okay, but wasn't the question, why didn't you tell people? And what did he say there? What was his response?
If this attack happened, and why you didn't inform Canadian before?
Well, I mean, I'm not the only spokesperson for the government.
So his excuse is that he's not the only spokesperson for the government. Not my fault. Not my fault. That's not my job. You're the boss. You're the one in charge. You would have been briefed on this. I mean, one would think he would ask, okay, what is our response going to be? Or he would have thought of a response. He would have had some, you know what I'm saying here, right? Like, there would have been some action taken. He would have felt the need to have some action taken. Obviously, he would have been briefed on this. So it looks to me like he just thought, well, let's just not say anything because I'm already getting a lot of heat for my personal reaction to my flip-flopping on this. So that will only complicate things. And I'm Mark Carney, and I'm a sleazy liar, a sleazy central banker. So that's just how I do things. And I tell you what, Canadians love it. Have you seen the polls? Yeah. Again, so just a not satisfactory answer there. You're the boss. You're the boss. You're responsible. This isn't like this isn't like, I don't know, some MP's kid stole a candy bar at the corner store, right? Like, this is a big deal. He would have been briefed on it. And what do we get? Oh, it's somebody else's fault, I guess. And, well, I'm not the only spokesperson. And then a word salad. This is Turbo Trudeau. I've been saying this all along. It's Turbo Trudeau. He's worse. He's worse. He's just as woke, and he's worse. In terms of economics, obviously, Trudeau, I wouldn't even say Trudeau was his protege. I just think that Mark Carney told Trudeau what to do. He was advising him since at least 2020. It was in all the newspapers. I'm not making it up. You can check for yourselves. I think he was just telling Trudeau what to do, and now Carney has a free hand to do it exactly how he wants. So maybe Trudeau, as bad as Trudeau was, like I just disastrously bad, he was slightly less bad than Carney. Maybe because because of his incompetence, he wasn't able to enact as perfectly disastrous the things that Mark Carney told him to do. Perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, Carney's the man in control now. So how about this? Again, CBC News. How about this? CBC News. This is a huge story, right? Huge story. Is there anything about this? Again, the initial story should be on the front page, and then there should be more stories. They should be followed up on, okay? Like clarify, in the old days, reporters would have actually done a lot of work and talked to other politicians and maybe tried to dig something up. That doesn't happen anymore. For some crazy reason, let's see, for some crazy reason, the headline story now is Trump calls on allies to defend the Strait of Hormuz. They're thinking about it. So now we just get Mean Girls, right? Mean Girls. 1.5 billion for the CBC. This is what we get. As long as it keeps people from thinking about the Liberal Party failures. Let's see. Anything about this story here? No, but lots of Oscar stuff. Let's see. Nothing. Canada named this castle-like courthouse a National Historic Site. Now a tower is set to rise beside it. This is deemed to be more important by the CBC. Huh. This one, I just wanted to be one of the guys on my hockey team, but it wasn't always easy. That's more important. Because that's some woke slop right there. Just nothing. It should be a major story, and there should be follow-up stories for a week, 2 weeks afterwards. Nothing. Why did the government not tell us this thing? That's a lie by omission. Just nothing. No. Paralympics, that's more important. Yeah. This is how you manufacture a prime minister, folks. This is how it happens. All right. Let's hear this. So from James Bizon, MP, Conservative, MP, Conservative Shadow Minister for National Defense. What does he have to say about it?
I wanted to make a quick statement on the news that we learned this morning that Canadian Armed Forces members were attacked on March the 1st in Kuwait during the very early hours of the first parts of the war in Iran. We are extremely, well, first and foremost, we're happy to know that everyone is safe. We've heard that at committee as well, that we were assured that everyone in the Canadian Armed Forces have been safe throughout the region. However, Prime Minister Carney has had multiple occasions and press availability to disclose this fact that Canadian Armed Forces bases in Kuwait were attacked on March the 1st. We also are very concerned that this has been an ongoing lack of transparency, and it's part of the ongoing flip-flops of Mark Carney and the Liberals on their position on the war in Iran. As Conservatives, we are very supportive of the removal of the terrorist regime in Iran and for freedom and democracy to prevail throughout the country. However, I have to remind everyone that when we were government during the Harper era, Conservatives held ongoing press availability and technical briefings on our Canadian Armed Forces and Operation Impact in Iraq and Syria. This is a failure of the government of not wanting to communicate, not being transparent, and not sharing with Canadians exactly how Canada is impacted by this war and how the Canadian Armed Forces are continuing to be in the region, not involved in this operation, but continuing on in their responsibilities tied to other operations in Canadian interest. So we ask the government to be transparent, to provide all the details and information, rather than us learning about it 10 days, 11 days after the fact, since this is something that is important to Canadians and the Canadian Armed Forces. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's fairly obvious that the reason they didn't say anything is because it would have interfered with Mark Carney's already confusing and unprincipled flip-flopping on the whole thing. And I think it's as simple as that. I mean, this is what you get when you just get, rule by poll numbers. That's it. This is what you get. Of course, no principle, no backbone, no spine, no decency. You just get this. And in the meantime, here's from Table Salt. And this is back from March 1st. An Iranian activist gym was shot up overnight in Toronto, likely by Iranian sleeper cells. There is an estimated 700 IRGC agents in Canada that we know of. The war expands into Canada. Well, it's what happens when you invite terrorists into your country. So you can see he's got the Shah there on his hoodie, so you know which side he's on.
یه سری تروریست حمله کردن به باشگاه ما و شروع کردن به تیراندازی 17 تا تیر جنگی زدن کل این پیاما من گرفتم اما
Well, I can't understand a word he's saying, and I know you can't either, but I think we got everything we needed there. Was there? Okay, that's it. All right. And then just very quickly, Pierre Poilievre posted this. Happy first anniversary, Mark Carney. Deficit doubled, highest food inflation in the G7, second highest unemployment in the G7, no pipelines approved, home building dropped by 15%, immigration system still broken, violent crime skyrocketing in our major cities. A year later, illusion meets reality. Congratulations, sir. You're just another liberal. Well, here's from Mark Carney. He posted this 1 year ago to 1 year ago today. Canada's new government. They keep saying new government. No, it's not. It's the same liberal government with all the same players. Mark Carney himself was Trudeau's economic advisor from 2020. So he's not even new. But they keep saying this new government. No, you're not. You're the same damn thing. Canada's new government took office with a strong mandate for change. Yes, Trudeaunomics wasn't good enough, so now we get Turbo Trudeau with Mark Carney. We're working with focus and ambition to build new trade partnerships for Brookfield, bring down your costs, and transform our economy. And we're just getting started. And by we're, he means him and Brookfield. Yep. We could have had a good prime minister. We could have had Pierre Poilievre. Would he have been perfect? No. But would he have been better than what we have?
The Prime Minister said he wants to keep it in the ground. And yet today we had the hilarious spectacle of the Liberal Natural Resource Minister saying Canada will do what it can to help with its stockpiles for the current energy shortage. Our stockpiles are zero, Mr. Speaker. So will the Prime Minister flip-flop again, adopt my policy that we should have a strategic oil and mineral reserve so that we can supply the world in the future?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, there's many policies of the member opposite I will not adopt. One of them is flip-flopping, jumping around, searching for ridings every election.
Just a smug a-hole. And how did you get your riding? Right? You kicked a guy out, right? Of course, the CBC doesn't like to make a fuss about that.
Exports have never been higher under this government, over 5 million barrels per day, and they will increase because they will be low carbon, low cost, low risk.
Low carbon, low risk. What does that mean? Like, that doesn't make you competitive. We're the only ones doing this, apparently. The States isn't doing it, and they're exporting. They're the biggest exporter in the world now. They're the biggest oil producer in the world. They don't do any of this, and it seems to be working out just fine for them. This has just been since 2015 with Trudeau and now with Carney. Clearly the country is going downhill. Clearly now it's just going off a cliff. I mean, the parliamentary budget officer, before they canned him, told us, yeah, we're looking out over the precipice. It's not good. The fiscal outlook is not funny, right? And yet they just stand up. They get in parliament and they stand up and they just say, no, everything's great. We're doing a great job. And that's been enough. Year after year, that's been enough for the Canadian people. And then all of his lackeys behind him here, all clapping like trained seals. They know how bad it is. They know how bad it is in the country, yet they all just clap. These are people that don't care about Canada. They don't care about anything but themselves. Apparently, they're careerists. That's what we've got, a bunch of careerists and know-nothing careerists. These aren't experts, right? These aren't talented people. These are just politicians that are not even good at it. I mean, how is Jolie still around? I mean, Anita Anand? Like, how are these people still have jobs in the government? They're useless. They make Carney look bad, but I guess it doesn't matter because people will still just keep voting for it because it's not conservative. Because Rosemary Barton's teleprompter told them so. It's enough to make you go insane. And I think I might have gone insane, folks. I might have finally lost it. I don't know. Maybe tonight's the night. Anyway, anybody watching on YouTube, subscribe to the new channel, Radio Baloney News. It's been around for about 6 months now. It's growing fast. Get some now. It's got all the world news, U.S. news, UK news, woke mind virus, meme reviews. Look at all these wonderful videos down here. Does Trump want Cuba? I bet he does. Average guy versus women. He totally beats him, by the way. CNN propaganda. Look at this meme review. All these wonderful things. You can only get these on Radio Baloney News. Go and subscribe right now. All right. Looks like it's getting too late. We started too late tonight. We're losing mental health now. Everybody's going. All right. Anyway, thanks for stopping in. Yep. JDL makes such a good point here. Hit the like button, JDL says. Hit the like button. What a great thing to say. Thank you so much, JDL. What wonderful advice. Let's see. Going way back in the chat now because I've been ranted for a long time. JDL says Zelensky will move to Hollywood or Florida. Well, apparently he's got a big place in Florida, as I understand it. And so he'll probably end up there. Let's see. Mental Health says Mark Carney is a gigantic twat waffle. A gigantic twat waffle. Super true. Ottawa James says, what tax cut? It's $11 a month. So you got Mark Carney to thank for that. JDL says, our governments hate us. Yes, they do. Let's see. JDL says, climate Scientology. It's just a big... Mark Carney was the UN climate finance envoy. That should tell you everything you need to know. It's about money. It's about money. Mark Carney is the global climate finance point man. He's made a lot of promises. He's made a lot of arrangements. He's built up his ESG fund at Brookfield, and somebody's going to have to pour subsidies into this stuff or else, because it doesn't make money on its own, right? The stuff has to be subsidized, right? The carbon credits, that's just making money out of thin air. I mean, it's the craziest scam I've ever heard of, right? But people actually take it seriously. And you're paying for it, by the way. The only way this happens is with subsidies. That's why Mark Carney is prime minister, to get his hands on the national credit card and max it out for himself and his buddies. Let's see. JDL says EU hates Europe and Europeans. Sure do. Sure does. Mental Health says the Oscars are fake and gay. Fake and gay. I believe that's true. They were tonight, weren't they? I don't think I saw any of the movies. I'll tell you what movie I saw and I liked. War Machine. Was that Netflix or was that Prime? I can't remember. War Machine. Excellent. Just a good old I mean, it's dumb, super stupid, but just fun. And no woke in it. It's just I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I want them to make a part 2. Izzy says, also known as covering for the government instead of holding them to account. Yep, 100%. Ottawa James says, dumbasses that voted for this. Dumbasses that voted for this. He is correct. You are correct, sir. Ottawa James says, LOL, was it the Oscars earlier? Who cares? Nobody cares, apparently. I don't care. Yeah, the Oscars used to be a big deal. Now they just kind of come and go, and it's like, the Oscars happened? Oh, I didn't see any of the movies anyway. Let's see. Freedom Butterfly says, Carney was selected, not elected. I agree. At the very least, he was selected by the media. Freedom Butterfly says, Canada needs more wood chippers. Ooh, that's dark. It's very dark. Izzy says, talking about the decision not to tell Canadians about the Canadian soldiers in Kuwait. Of course, they had a briefing and the decision was made to not tell anyone. Yes, because Carney had already messed the whole thing up so much. So they decided to just lie, and why not? The media's not going to cover it. We went to the CBC. They're not interested in talking about it. Trudeau Survivor says, I thought Justin Trudeau was bad at speaking. I called him Trudeau. Carney is even worse. He's actually a much worse public speaker than Trudeau. I would disagree a little bit. Trudeau was actually a pretty good public speaker. Is maybe the only thing that he was good at. I'm not saying that the words that came out of his mouth were profound or important in any way. It's just that he was good at delivering a bunch of his own word salads. All right, I'm going to skip down to the end here because we got to get moving. Let's see. Everybody's crashing out. We're getting too late. As he says, just getting started. It's been nearly a year exactly of the new government, the new liberal government. Right. Rosie says, Representative Tim Burchett says U.S. oil barrel prices are inflated by companies as a grift. Well, that's interesting. I haven't seen that. Interesting, though. Let's see. All right. We can't do energy on Sunday nights. I have to do it on Tuesdays. I'm sorry. These are just the rules, JDL. I'm sorry. All right. Rosie says, did you see my stealthy escape strategy? Where was that? I want to go back a little bit. Did I miss it? I had to skip past a bunch of stuff. Let's see. No, I can't find it. All right. Let's move on. Sorry, Rosie. I couldn't find it. Let's move on. So here's the last tab of the evening. And most of this we're actually going to do tomorrow night for the premium stream. So what's this? Wall Street Apes. The National Desk went and investigated inside the drug factories making medicine for America in India. They found they are cheating tests and making our drugs in secret locations not approved by the FDA. In India, you say? They told our crew to destroy the footage. Well, let's take a look. Maybe like having things like medicine, your medicine made in the third world, maybe not the greatest idea.
Thousands of miles away, drug factories in India pump out our life-saving medicine.
Cisplatin, carboplatin, cyclophosphamide.
Away from our view.
They were laughing at us overseas.
Inside factories that cheat tests and poison trust.
The quality issues are tremendous.
With untold costs to our health.
She said, well, do I die?
Our cameras went there.
They told our crew to destroy the footage.
To expose the deadly consequences.
Adverse events, including death, happen on a daily basis here in the U.S.
Falsified data, filth, and contaminated facilities, some with secret locations, unapproved by the FDA, but making medications bound for America.
This affects every single one of us.
What's hidden?
Look at how much of this is redacted.
Inside a system we all trust.
Now, how is this acceptable?
But no one really knows.
I'm not sure that doctors or Americans necessarily at this moment grasp that.
They're going to. They're going to.
Spotlight on America presents Tainted Trust inside the global medicine pipeline.
This is one that really kind of demands a longer video, doesn't it? But that's terrifying. And again, why? Like, okay, Korea or like Japan, if it's made there, I'm not worried. All right. That's going to be clean, right? They keep their shit clean. All right. India, they keep their shit next to your medication, right? Their literal shit. Yeah. This one is one maybe we should revisit that at some point. What's going on here? Your favorite West Virginian. Let's take a look. Oh, no. Music. We're not doing, because we got to listen to them, but we can't do the music. That's tomorrow night. All right. That's one you guys sent in. This is one you guys sent in as well. I think we can do that. We've done this one before ages ago, but it's good. Let's take a look. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say his life is a living hell. That's my take on this. The wildlife sanctuary prepared an ice bed for the panda on a hot day. Well, this is a red panda. So, pretty adorable things, aren't they, actually? Look at that. And it's hot. It's a hot day. Oh, yeah. That's a palate cleanser. That's what we call a palate cleanser. Sophie says, you'll never see this side of him portrayed on traditional media. This is why X is so important. Yeah. Never. But you only... No, can't do it. Music. So we have to keep moving. We'll save that one for tomorrow. That we can't do today. This has music. This we can't do today. We have to do it tomorrow. I think we actually watched that one last night. This one we can't do because so that's it. We're done. Let's go to the chat and let's see what's going on with you guys. JDL says, I'm draft age in Ukraine. We all are. Let's see. By the way, James says, make Iran free again. Well, it's not like it was a paradise under the Shah. They had secret police and all of that, but it was not as bad as it is now. So, I mean, there's a long history. There was a democratically elected government that was overthrown. I think basically by the United States, and then the Shah installed, and he was also a dictator. But I don't think he was anywhere near as bad as what the mullahs have become. But I don't think that the Iranians, from what I'm hearing, that they don't want another Shah. They want, at least a good share of the population would like something like a Western liberal democracy. Remember, it's a very young country. Yeah, let's see. Ottawa James says we need some Littlest Hobo. We'll do it tomorrow night. Do Littlest Hobo tomorrow night. Just remember to ask me. I'm always happy to do the Littlest Hobo song. Always. But we have to do it on a premium night. Because copyright. That's Rumble premium stream for everybody. All right. Trudeau was good at speaking. I think RB remembers PM dress up differently. I didn't say that he was smart or that he said anything intelligent. I'm just saying that he was glib. Copy link address. Let's take a look. Paste. And what have we got? Here we go. All right. Let's see.
Do you and your family do to cut back on plastics?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of when we have water bottles out of a plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles, sort of things. There's a number.
Do you and
Okay, that's pretty bad. I still don't think he's as bad as Carney, though. I'm going to say that. Rosie says, Biltmore in April is even more impressive than Bouchard Gardens. Baloney family, we must visit. This is what you tell them. Promise them. That's the escape plan and the Golden Dome thing. Let's see. A tour of the estated gardens. We'll look at that tomorrow. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, it's annoying when they add that subtle background music to manipulate the audience. It is. Let's see. Rosie says, medications are not good to outsource, but they are. Yeah, it's in fact, it's kind of crazy. I mean, again, if they're making your medications in Japan, you're not too worried about it, right? You're not too worried about it. If they're making your baby food in Japan, you're not too worried about it. They're making if you're buying baby food and it's got made in China on it, you know that like whatever big vat that baby food is going into, it was full of like lead or like depleted uranium like 10 minutes earlier. Same thing with India. No, I mean, if you're going to outsource your medications, at least a clean country, right, where people are clean. Rosie says, bring your Kleenex. Richie always cries at Littlest Hobo. Hope he does not kick his own butt. Never let me forget about it. Never let me forget about it. What a nice chat we have here. Rosie says, True China is lying, I think. Yes. Well, he was constantly lying. Trudeau Survivor says, Whole Foods sells bags of frozen peas, product of China. Don't buy anything that you're going to eat or wear in your body from China. A bad idea. Rosie says, baby food from China may have wet bats in it. COVID bats. Let's see. All right. Izzy says, baby food from China is made with real babies. Ooh. What a horrible thing. But I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, if it's not real babies, it's pangolins and bats. Pretty much. I think if you look at the ingredients, if they were honest, it would be like sugar and then bats and pangolins. All right, that's it. We're so done. We are so done. Well, we got started late, 7:30 tonight, so it's late. Everybody's getting tired. And we're 2 hours and 15 minutes in. I think that's good. So we're back tomorrow night, everybody. We're back tomorrow night with the premium stream. And we have so many members now that can watch the premium stream on Rumble because of all the generous people like Rosie and Spambot, and I think Trudeau Survivor too. All the generous people that have been, and I think Travis gave one away. Like all the generous people, all the best people in the world that have been giving away, gifting these memberships. So we should have a full house tomorrow. And it'll be fun. And it's very audience heavy. So everybody really enjoys it. Maybe we'll ask the computer if some things are racist, like pencil erasers and stuff, or shoelaces. And we'll find out that they are. Somebody wrote their PhD thesis about penguins are racist or something. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time. Anyway, you guys, thank you for showing up. If you weren't here, this would be depressing. It'd be a depressing experience for me because I'd be ranting to a cold and indifferent universe. And that would be sad. But because you guys are here, it's fun and it's glad. So if you guys keep showing up, I will keep showing up. I will see everybody tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time for the very special Rumble Premium stream. Good night, everyone.